Hello and welcome. Tales of the Empire is about to drop, and even a month after its announcement, I still don't understand what they were thinking when they greenlit it. First off, we already had Tales from the Empire. I've read it. It was good. We don't need a ripoff. Second, what is this? I get that they're trying to continue Tales of the Jedi, which by all accounts was a decent show, but this is not the way to go about it. For one, the Empire itself is irreparably tarnished. Andor's a great show and all, but that one effective portrayal of the Empire can't fix Rebels and Kenobi making them a joke. They're still an empire of morons, and that means this show has an uphill battle to even begin to get me invested. If I wanted to see someone trained to be a clown, I'd go watch The Simpsons. But even if Disney did want to tell stories with this faction, why on earth would they pick these characters? Ahsoka was terrible, so Morgan is someone most people only really know from her episode in The Mandalorian, years and years ago. But half remembering an episode that the trailer explicitly calls back to might be better than actually watching Ahsoka, since for anyone who did, bringing her and Thrawn in will make it impossible to care about that half of this new story. Ahsoka painted Morgan as painfully generic and Thrawn as utterly idiotic. Thrawn has been so badly destroyed by Filoni that any attempt to fix him by making him smart will just raise questions about how he could have fallen so far by the time we meet him in Ahsoka, and how Morgan could fail to mention his decline when they meet again. Do you understand how insane this is? Disney has to write the most memetically intelligent Star Wars character as an idiot, or they're being inconsistent with their own past writing. How on earth did it come to this? But the craziest part? I can understand centering a story around Morgan and Thrawn more than I can understand centering it around Barriss and the Grand Inquisitor. Sure, it's an author's saving throw to try and redeem Morgan and Thrawn, but Lucasfilm does this all the time. As far back as the Clone Wars, they've been trying to redeem badly executed characters through animation. It's a Hail Mary, but I can understand their thinking. But Barriss? Nobody has seen anything about her in over a decade. She's the most blatantly bottom-of-the-barrel character, the key furthest on the back of the keychain. And the other half of her story, the Grand Inquisitor, was heavily damaged by Kenobi to the point that who's even going to care that he's back? Unless they're trying to fix these characters up for some later story or trying to make a really deep cut with Barriss, why are they even trying to remind people they exist now? And all of this is especially funny because even if they are trying to dig deep with Barriss, she's been a controversial figure since before Disney even took over. Late in the Clone Wars, pre-Disney Lucasfilm retconned her entire existing character and her canonical death in an Episode 3 deleted scene to turn her into an anti-Jedi terrorist that falls to the dark side, tries to blow up the temple, and causes Ahsoka's expulsion. She wasn't the first thing Filoni had sacrificed on the altar of his precious original character, and she certainly wouldn't be the last, but it was the most explicit retcon the Clone Wars show had ever done, and plenty of people were not happy about how a genuinely likable character from animation, comics, and books was overwritten without a second thought. This means that even if Disney is trying to somehow appeal to longtime fans by bringing her back, they run the risk of reminding them of what amounts to the very first blatant retcon, the one that started it all, the first domino to fall before Disney was even in the picture, the thing that set the precedent for the entire Legends retcon. I'm not so sure that's a good idea there, Kathy. To bring it back, one of the best parts of the original Tales from the Empire was that it wasn't trying to play catch-up. Sure, the occasional existing character would make an appearance, but the majority were about new characters on new adventures, telling a story and expanding the world in equal measure. These were short stories originally written in a magazine for the die-hard fan. They didn't carry the weight of the franchise, they weren't trying to fix the mistakes of other works, they were solely there to entertain. When Tales from the Empire showed us how Mara Jade met Talon Karrde, it did it to tell us a fun story, and so we could see what these characters were like years before the events of the Thrawn trilogy. It didn't do it in a desperate attempt to retool a character fans hated, and they didn't do it to slap Mara Jade's face on the cover to sell more copies. If Disney had learned from the example of the book they stole the name of their show from, their show might actually be worth watching. Instead, the work of hundreds of people, from storyboarders and animators to actors and composers, is about to be undermined by crappy writing. Again. What a waste.